Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Hi, my name is Brett Christoffel. I reside in Crossroads, Texas, and I am the founder and CEO of All Y'all's Foods. We are a mission-driven plant-based proteins company with a line of jerky and bacony bits currently.
Awesome. So how did you get the idea for this business?
Well, it started with me in an instant. I realized all animals are present and aware and they don't want to die. This was a trip to the zoo. This was 8 years ago. And so I turned to my wife and said, I'm done eating animals. She's like, okay. And, we kill 100,000 every minute of every day when all the protein and calcium we need is actually in plants. And so I stopped eating them. Then I read about a year later that beef is our second largest export next to cotton here in Texas. And a native Texan, it bothered me. And in fact, out loud to myself, I said, are you going to bitch about it or are you going to change it? Because folks like to bitch and do nothing.
Right.
Said I'm going to change it. So I decided there's 7 regions of Texas. We'll do a flavor for each region. And I picked a sanctuary here in Texas. It's actually the first cattle operation turned animal sanctuary in the country, Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, and we donate a portion of every bag sold to them. And as far as resources, we use less than 10% of the land, fuel, and water to produce ours compared to beef.
Awesome. Well, I guess like you said, right, I think that's awesome because many people do have these ideas, but they don't actually go and do anything about it. So what did it look like for you to actually go and start working on this? Did you start like in your kitchen or how did you actually start making your first products?
Yeah, I started immediately in my kitchen. I looked for different things I could use to create a plant-based jerky and began working on formulas. And then it was suggested, pick your top 3 and go with those to start. So I did, and then I found a co-manufacturer and started growing.
That's awesome. So in terms of your business today, is it mostly e-commerce, food service, retail? Like where are most of your customers located?
Most of our customers are located in and around Texas, but we're in stores from LA to New York City. And so we have customers all across the country. We have fans in other parts of the world too, but we can't ship to them. They get their friends to do that for them. But it's partially direct to consumer. We're working on growing that now, but it's also distributors and retailers and that kind of thing. So it's every channel, but we are with our bacony bits and another product we're coming up with. We're going to get into food service because we had a lot of requests for the bacony bits.
For sure. So in terms of retail, are you in a certain region? Are you mostly in Texas or what type of stores can your customers find you in?
We're in specialty retail stores. We're in coffee shops. We're in bakeries. We're in our largest retailer is H-E-B. Which is here in Texas. We're in 150 of their stores, but we're also in like Wheatsville and Royal Blue and Tom's and a lot of different stores. I would suggest people just look at the website. It'll let them know what's nearby them, if anything, or they can order from our site.
For sure. So in terms of that channel, right, direct to consumer, what are you doing? I guess what have you done to actually grow that channel? Have you run ads or organic social media or other things? What have you really done to scale that up?
We've done some ads on Amazon. We grew our Amazon sales 89% last year. But we're working right now to focus direct to consumer. We put together a subscription program to bring a lot of value. And so that's just firing up this summer. And because we haven't had a budget, it's just me, we haven't had a budget to do a lot of advertising and that kind of thing. It's been organic, but I always invest in having a presence on social media, but not on ads, just posts.
For sure. So I guess how do you focus on positioning your product, right? Because you're in a very competitive space. There's lots of plant-based products. Similar types of products. So how do you go about saying, okay, we're better, people should come and buy from you as opposed to your competitors?
I have a lot of good competitors, but I would say what sets us apart is our bold and unique flavors. Like prickly pear is the state plant of Texas, so we use the juice from the fruit of the prickly pear cactus in our marinades for our teriyaki and our chipotle, because you're not going to find that anywhere else. And then I would offer that because we're a mission-driven brand, we give a portion of every bag sold to Rowdy Girl. We've given them to date over 35,000. And so I would say between being mission driven And having the bold and unique flavors, I would say that's what sets us apart primarily. And let me not forget that ours, compared to most others, are lower in sodium and sugar.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're saying that it's a healthier product. It's like a better for you product compared to like some of these mainstream products that you'll find on retail shelves.
Yeah, I mean, in the plant-based space, it's a bit healthier. So it's a healthy product, if you will, but without sacrificing flavor. The thing is a lot of companies drive flavor with salt and sugar because salt and sugar is cheap. We drive flavor like in our teriyaki. Most teriyakis, again, are driven with sodium and sugar, but we use ginger. So again, we're trying to put the best flavors out there that people can experience.
Makes sense. So what would you say is the biggest challenge that you currently face in your business?
Margins.
Margins. Yeah.
Margins, yeah, because you've got companies that make junk instead of, I didn't want to call it crap, but all they're doing is making margins. That's all they care about. They're not caring about nourishing you. They're just there to make money. Kind of like most soda companies. There's no value there. It's just entertainment for your tongue and brain. And so what we do is we delight and nourish the consumer rather than harm them, because all beef is a category 1 or 2 carcinogen.
Right. So your concern is that like essentially you don't want to charge too much and bear the cost like on the consumer, and you want to keep your prices lower. So that's why you're kind of stuck dealing with these lower margins as you're trying to scale your business.
Well, I would offer that because our margins are limited because of the quality of the products we use in our wares, it prohibits a lot of ad spend and all these other things that a lot of retailers demand. And the fact is there are retailers we won't work with because it doesn't make any sense. They couldn't sell enough for us to make money.
For sure. So speaking of making money and scaling things up, like for 2024 to be successful for you, what would that look like? I mean, how much do you want to grow this year?
We're gonna at least double our business from last year, and that'll put us right where we need to be for the next year. Not where we want to be, but where we need to be for next year. So, and it's not, I would encourage anyone who wants to make a lot of money doing something like this, invent a widget, do technology, you know what I mean? Create a new that sets the world on fire, because it's just not an easy climb. It's not, and I've got no complaints. It's not super easy.
Right. So you're saying that it's going to take time, and essentially next year you'll kind of get to where you want to be. And in terms of that, like what is that going to take? Is that going to take more of this subscription box that you mentioned, like on your website, more Amazon, or maybe even, or I guess like you mentioned also food service, right?
Yes, food service is different than retail. So I'm excited to get in it because, one, the packaging, you're not spending a lot of money on packaging. And two, they don't want ad spend or free fills or anything else. It's just, here's a great product to impress your end customer. And we've had a lot of clamoring for it. So it's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
For sure. So obviously now in 2024, many companies use high-level technology like AI in their business. So do you currently use AI? And if not, what could AI maybe come in and add value?
I do use AI for a myriad of things, but I don't have anything in place like certain systems plugged in to where they'll run and do different. I don't have that at this point.
For sure.
But I like it. It's interesting.
Do you use it like for copywriting, or like, I guess like what do you use it for?
I will sometimes put my copy in of what I've created and run through Grammarly, and see what it has to say and see if there's anything to add. But I would never, do a prompt and then expect the perfect product to come out. It's not going to happen. But it does provide some linguistic magic.
For sure. So like, have you thought about AI for chat to help better explain your product to your potential customers?
I've read about it, but I haven't given it a lot of thought, only because of everything we're dealing with. But I would learn more to see how that could benefit us, of course.
For sure. So what would you say is like the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this business?
Be patient. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I've never done this. My background's in corporate sales. And so this was all new to me. And I would say the most important thing is to always know your numbers in and out.
So essentially that you focus more on slower growth, making sure that you're staying profitable and not like crazy growth and losing tons of money like some, CPG brands have been doing.
I've got a CEO coach who's helped me, and I realized if someone is not impacting the bottom line, they don't belong there.
Exactly.
And so I realized, as a solo founder, you wear a lot of hats.
Right.
And I thought, you need to let some other people wear some of those hats. And you don't. You don't. I mean, I've got a CFO, fractional, and that's what I need. I need
Right.
someone who's got the back end, the numbers perfect, and knows exactly what's going on. And I can trust, and then use fractional people as required, but you don't need to build a team, and I look at other companies in my space who've secured tens of millions of dollars in funding, and all they do is start hiring people like crazy. And I know in some cases that makes sense at some level, but that the model's wrong.
Right.
It doesn't work because they end up going through countless millions, and it's like, you still haven't figured it out. You're still not profitable. It blows my mind, but they got the investors to invest in them. So there you go.
Are you looking to raise money? Or are you saying
Yeah,
focusing on?
we're currently doing a safe.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that you're more like the sales and visionary person, and you have the CFO coming in, making sure that everything is good, from your number side of things.
Absolutely, because it's kind of like being a pilot. There was a point in life when I realized, you know what, you're just never going to care enough to get into all the details and be safe. So just let someone else fly. It's that kind of thing. And it's the same thing with numbers. I like numbers, and I find them agreeable, but I want someone who really is tuned in to manage those.
For sure. So if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for your business?
Taking off. There's a lot of things in the works, and it'll be an exciting time for certain.
Awesome. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social
Yeah.
media? I guess best ways to get in contact.
Sure. Yeah, we're everywhere on social media under All Y'all's Foods. And if they want to reach out to me directly, they can through our website.
Awesome. Well, Brett, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Bye.